On Thursday, media outlets put out some images, some first look images of Jason Momoa as Aquaman from the upcoming movie that comes out December 2018. So that's about a year from now. I don't remember the exact date, but it's December that month next year. And we got a photo directed by James Wan, by the way, a very successful guy who came up through horror. I think he directed one of the Saw movies. And then he started doing like those Conjuring Annabelle movies. He directed some, and I think now he's a producer or something. And he's migrated to more mainstream stuff. Like he directed a Fast and the Furious action movie, and now Aquaman, which is a superhero action movie for DC and Warner Brothers. Let's take a look at this photo. Jason Momoa, I've read about this already, and I guess some people are saying that Jason Momoa looks different here than he does in Justice League. I think he looks exactly the same. He himself looks the same. I don't know if they changed his tattoos or something. I don't think Jason Momoa is that tattooed up in real life. At least not from what I remember. I've seen pictures of him. But I think, they put more on him for the movies. And I don't know if these are the exact same tattoos that he had in Justice League. I saw Justice League like 3 times, but I don't remember the exact pattern of Jason Momoa's tattoos. But what is different is, I guess, the way this picture looks, because that's what media outlets have been focusing on. It looks different than Justice League. It does, kind of. I mean, Justice League, was directed originally or mostly by Zack Snyder. Then Joss Whedon came in and did some stuff, but tried to keep a lot of Zack Snyder's aesthetic. And Zack Snyder does go for a more darker color palette, I guess. And this does seem... Oh, well, actually, they tried to brighten Justice League up a little bit. And so it was more colorful, I guess, in a lot of spots. This does look like it's continuing more of the darkness. It just aesthetically, not necessarily tonally and plot-wise from the movie, but just the aesthetic from Justice League, because the lighting in this picture is darker. But of course, the light on Jason Momoa is very bright and stuff, because he's the center of the photo. I mean, he looks good. I think this looks good. It does look, in my opinion, just like Justice League in terms of the, I guess, cinematography or lighting. But I don't know, maybe my eye isn't as keen for certain things as others. But I think it's great. I mean, it looks like, it's Aquaman in mid-action and walking somewhere. And I think he looks fine. Looks just like himself to me. He looks like his facial expression, he looks like, gritty and intense, or like he's mad about something, which is how he was in Justice League for like at least the first half of the movie. And then later on, he kind of became a bit more like, dope-de-dope, and more like jokey and funny, I guess. And I'm wondering if, I don't know, Aquaman will probably have some jokes in the movie, but I don't think the tone of that movie is going to be like all bright and shiny or happy. I mean, I don't think it's going to be a dark movie, but I don't think they're going to... I think it's going to be a straight-up action movie, like in tone, like the Fast and the Furious movies. There's going to be jokes peppered here and there, but I don't think they're going to go heavy in the comedy. And this is from Entertainment Weekly, this website I'm on right now. Let's see what he says. Because there's a lot of quotes from Jason... There's quotes from Jason Momoa and Jason Wan on here. It's going to look very different. It will feel very different, aesthetically, tonally, story-wise. It's my own take. It's a much more traditional action-adventure quest movie. So Aquaman's looking for something. He's on a quest. What's he looking for? That's from James Wan. Jason Momoa, who plays Aquaman, says, Justice League was only a weekend in Arthur Curry's life. This is a totally different beast. In Aquaman, you see when his parents met and what happened to them, then the little boy being raised and finding his powers and going through that and never being accepted on either side. And then becoming this man who puts up all these walls. You just slowly see this man harden up and be completely reluctant, wanting to be king and not knowing what to do with these powers. He has. I think James Wan just killed it. And yeah, this is an interesting role for Jason Momoa. I wonder if he has a personal connection to it, because Aquaman is, of course, he's a biracial person, half-Atlantean, he looks totally Caucasian, and he is in the comics, but, he's half surface-built worlder and half Atlantean, and that is actually played up in the comics, angst torn between two worlds. That's actually a recurring theme and a big part of a lot of Aquaman storylines, at least today. I don't know if the old 60s classic Aquaman stories and, 70s, they played that up. But I know recently in today's comics, that's like a really big part of the storylines. Because I read Aquaman comics today, and that's part of it. Because Jason Momoa, I think he's half Caucasian, half like Pacific Islander or Hawaiian. And so I'm wondering if he kind of relates to a lot of Aquaman's struggles by playing this role. If I understand Jason Momoa right, I think that's his background. And I'm wondering if that makes him have a personal connection to this character. And Wan does reference in this article how, Aquaman was a lot of times has been the butt of jokes. Like he just talks to fish. And I think there was that recurring joke in that Entourage TV show that, the same thing, how directing Aquaman, an Aquaman movie was like silly or something because he's supposed to be a silly character. But of course, James Wan doesn't think Aquaman is silly, and he's going to make the character a bit more legit, I guess. That's one of his goals with this movie. And he says that Aquaman has been the joke of the comic book world, but the more I thought about it, the more I thought how cool that would be. Let's take the character everybody makes fun of and do something really interesting with him. And according to this article, when James Wan met with Warner Brothers to do a superhero movie, they gave him a choice. He could either do The Flash or he could do Aquaman. I think it was Flash or Aquaman. He chose Aquaman because he was like, let's do something cool with Aquaman. And I think he is. I think Aquaman's going to kill it at the box office. I think people already like the character and like Jason Momoa in the role. I think they liked him. I think when it was announced that Jason Momoa was playing Aquaman like a few years ago, I think people responded positively to that. And I think they responded positively to him in Justice League. And I think, Aquaman's going to go over well. I don't really know if there's going to be a lot of hate tossed on it like Justice League and BVS. I could be wrong. We're not there yet. I know Aquaman's a year away. That means people have a year to I don't think a lot of people are thinking about Aquaman right now. We'll see what happens when we get there. But I think James Wan is a director that a lot of people like and a lot of critics like and trust. And I think he's going to make good decisions with Aquaman. And I think, Warner Brothers will be pleased with what he does and won't have to be meddling in his movie. Because I know Warner Brothers likes to meddle in directors' movies. At least the DC movies. But I don't know. I have a good feeling about Aquaman. I think this picture's cool. And I'm excited. And thank you for watching. I just wanted to make a video about this photo, talk about the movie. Please like the video, subscribe to the channel, do all that good stuff. And of course, I'll be doing more videos about DC movies and TV and comic books and all that cool stuff. Thank you for watching, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.